Hi everyone, it's Kim. Now normally right here I would say welcome back to my channel, but I always forget that you may be new to my channel. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Today I am doing a collab with a bunch of fabulous ladies, and we are doing slow cooker, crock pot type meals. Could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever the case may be. We were given free reign on what we wanted to make. So I thought what I would do is go through the list of the ladies that are in the collab with me, and then talk a minute about the recipe that I made, and then jump right into the recipe. So the ladies that I'm doing the collab with today are as follows. Carrie at Weight Watchers with Carrie, Lisa at Lisa's Country Kitchen, and sorry, I'm looking at a list because there's quite a few and there's no way I would have remembered all these. Kelly at Freedom in a Budget, Julie at Living Large on Lifetime, Anita at Chit Chat, Kate at Kate and James, Cheryl at My Well-Rounded Life, Gina Pearson, Gina, I don't have your channel here, so sorry. Kat at Cat on Point, B at B's Journey, Mel at Mel's Weight Loss Journey, Liz at Reluctant Vegetarian, Victoria at Weight Loss Journey of a Texas Girl, Liz, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering that, at Lizzie Liz Vlogs, Sandy at Let's Get Fit, Anne with Anne's Counting Weight Watchers Freestyle, and Sabrina at Sabrina's Search for Healthy and Happy. So please go check out their channels, and I'm going to do the same thing, and once they post their videos, I'm going to spend some time watching them too, because I love a great crockpot recipe. So the recipe that I'm making today for you is a marinara sauce. I originally found this, I think it was a Daily Dose of Pepper, and I think she changed her channel name and now it's the Skinniest Dish. So I have that listed below for you, so you can click on the link and have the recipe for yourself. Now, I've made this recipe a couple of times. It does make a larger batch of marinara sauce, which is nice because if you follow my channel, you know that I like to prep things ahead and have things ready to go when I need them. So I made a couple of changes. The last time I made this, I followed the recipe as is. This time I wanted a little bit more of a chunky texture, so I flip-flopped some ingredients. I used the same ingredients that were listed here, I just used the quantities different. So you'll see that in the video. So I'm not gonna sit here and chit-chat your head off. I know you jumped on my channel to see the video, so let's jump in and you'll see what I've got. Okay, before I get started, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Carrie over at Weight Watchers with Carrie. Carrie, thank you so much for putting this collab together. I know this was a lot of work. You have coordinated this beautifully. So again, I just want to say thank you, Carrie, and let's jump into the recipe. So today we're making slow cooker marinara sauce. This recipe comes to us from the skinniestdish.com. It's a crock pot marinara, and I am going to list the link to this video down below. So the recipe calls for 3 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, 2 14.5 cans of diced tomatoes, 5 garlic cloves, 1 large onion chopped, 2 tablespoons of oregano, 2 tablespoons of basil, a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. So I'm going to get our ingredients together, and then I will come back to you and we'll get started. Okay, so I went ahead and opened up the cans and got things ready. Now, the last time I made this recipe, it made a lot. And you know as well as I do that I love to meal prep, so making things in larger batches is right up my alley. So this time I thought I would switch up the ingredients a little bit, and instead of using the 3 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, I thought that I would swap the crushed tomatoes and the diced tomato ratio, And I would add the 84 ounces, I think it's 84 ounces, of diced tomatoes versus the crushed tomatoes. And then just use a large can of the crushed tomatoes, so that what I'm looking for is a chunkier type marinara sauce. And if it's too chunky, I can always just blend it down, but I think it's going to come out just right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started and throw our ingredients in here. Now today I'm going to be using my slow cooker liners. If you've not seen these, hopefully you can get a good view. I know the lighting isn't perfect today. So these slow cooker liners are amazing, and they make cleanup a breeze. I picked these up, I think, for less than $2 at Menards. Now, anyone who watches my channel knows that my husband loves Menards, and we go there all the time. So I always get lots of things there. So I'm just opening this slow cooker liner up. And tell me below if you have never seen these before. They are, like I said, absolutely amazing. Sometimes I'll spray the liner of my Crockpot, but when I'm making things like this, it's easier to just put the liners in. Now, I went ahead and pulled out some of the diced tomatoes because I just went ahead and bought it by the gallon. And I don't know if you do this too, but when I go to places like Costco, they have the larger quantities and they're just easier to work with, and they're a lot cheaper. So I'm just going to dump in what I have left here. Hopefully you can see that. I know this is going to make a mess. Hopefully not too big of a mess. Nope, that was pretty good. All right, we've got that one in there. So that is our 3 28-ounce cans of what they would have done crushed tomatoes with. Now I'm going to go ahead and dump in the crushed tomatoes on top of that. And since I have a different ratio, I'm going to take the liberty of putting in a can of tomato sauce, just to make it a little creamier. Calls for 1 large diced tomato. Just gonna dump that right in on top. The next thing we have to add in is 5 cloves of garlic minced. It says about 3 tablespoons already minced, so that's pretty simple. And I love how easy this recipe comes together. There's really no prep. You're just opening cans and jars and doing a couple of measurements and throwing it in there. So it is a quick and easy recipe. And like I said, this does make quite a bit, which is awesome because it freezes very well. Now the next thing it calls for is a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the pepper in first. So we've got that in. I'm going to put in the teaspoon of salt. Try to pour this slow because I really don't want to do an overflow on this one. All right, there's our teaspoon of salt. Calls for a ½ teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. I'm just going to do this over my sink because I know I will over pour that one. Okay. Gonna throw that in. And then it called for 2 tablespoons of oregano and 2 tablespoons of dried basil. Now the last time I made this, I just went ahead and used Italian seasoning because that's what I had on hand. So I'm going to do that same thing today. Now when I made it the last time, this was the only variation I did, was the Italian seasoning. I made everything else intact and it turned out amazing. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. So the last thing we have to do is grab a spoon, give this a quick little stir. Had to grab a spoon, of course. Gonna give this a quick stir. And did you see how quickly that came together? I mean, I think that was super fast. I think it was less than, I don't know what, 7 minutes. So I'm gonna bring you over, I'm gonna show you what that looks like. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook this on low for 8 hours. Plug this in real quick. Sure, that was a good view, right? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn my crock pot on. It's gonna turn this on manual because my husband will be home before this gets done. So I'm gonna cook it on low and just let that go all day. Again, the recipe says to cook for 8 to 10 hours. That's about the time frame we're gonna be gone, so we're just gonna let that go. Again, I will take a picture of that and insert it here so that you can see what the mixture looks like, and then I will come back later and show you after I pull this all together. So stay tuned. Okay, I'm just now getting back home from work. We're gonna open this up and see how it looks. Can I go ahead? It smells amazing. It smells like a big old pot of spaghetti sauce. See, I think I'm gonna like this one better because like I said, the last one, I like my spaghetti sauce a little chunkier. I may put some of this in my food processor. I'm really gonna have to invest in an immersion blender because that would save me a ton of time. So I'm gonna turn this off, I'm gonna let it cool down, and then I will come back at you when I finish it up to package it up and put it in my freezer. So stay tuned, we'll be back. Before I let this cool down, I wanted to let you know that I am using a 6-quart crock pot, and you can see that it's pretty full. So we will package this up in quart jars when it's cooled off. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention that it was a 6-quart crock pot, because I know sometimes you want to know which size that I'm using so that you know which size to use when you're making this with the same measurements. So, okay, so we're gonna let this cool down and then I'll be back. Okay, our marinara sauce has cooled down, so we're gonna go ahead and get that in our jars. I have 6-quart jars over there. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, so I just went ahead and pulled 6 of those out. So we're gonna go ahead and start filling those. So I have a funnel, and this is just a canning funnel that I use. I'm sure you've seen on my videos that I use this all the time for my overnight oats and things like that. It just makes it easier and a little less messy. Now I've decided not to blend this. I want to leave it chunky this time and see how it goes. I think it's gonna have a better flavor, and not really a better flavor, but you know, it's gonna have a better consistency. I think that's the word I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and start filling these. And again, if you follow my channel, I use these jars, these jar tops, and they're just plastic. They freeze very well. And I just throw those on top and that's done. Now I could use the metal tops, but I find it easier just to use the screw off tops. I use these all the time. So we're gonna go ahead and fill up our next jar. And these will keep in the freezer for quite a while. My last batch, I think we had spaghetti, I don't know, once every week, maybe once every 2 weeks. So this will last you quite a while, and it's so much better than that store-bought. And I'm sure you've seen in the front of my video that this marinara sauce is 0 SmartPoints. Now, how are you going to go wrong with 0 SmartPoint marinara sauce? Oops. So you'll notice that I have some wide mouth jars and I have just some regular mouth jars, and those lids do come in both. If you're wondering where I grabbed those lids from, I think I found these at Menards, and I think they were like three, maybe $4, fairly cheap. So it looks like we're going to get 4 quart jars of the marinara sauce out of this batch. So that is going to, again, last me weeks on end. So I'm going to go ahead and let this completely cool. It still is just a tad bit warm. And then I will stick those in the freezer. I'll throw one in the fridge to use this week, and then I'll throw the rest in the freezer. Now here's where it gets good. My Crockpot is now clean. Done. How easy is that? I just have to wash the lid, throw the lid back on, and I am done with that. So thank you again for coming along with me today while I made my marinara sauce. I hope you give this a try. Thank you to all the ladies that were part of this collab with me. Again, make sure you go out and check out everyone's channels below. I had a lot of fun doing this. Thanks for watching today. Please remember, if you're new to my channel, please, if you like what you see, subscribe below and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I post the new video. So with that said, I'm going to sign off for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.